So Curmel Moton is finally making his return to the ring after not being active for the past, I want to say 8 or 9 months. He's returning against Wilfredo Flores in Verona, New York. Now, this isn't a fight that anyone's really particularly sought after. This isn't a dream opponent for Curmel Moton. This guy's a journeyman who's 12-6, and he's going to be facing Curmel Moton, who's planning, I imagine, to run through him pretty easily, and he should do. He's in New York. He's, got a lot of momentum. There's a lot of media hype around him. People, cover Curmel Moton a lot. Of course, he's signed with Mayweather Promotion, so that automatically is going to get you some interest, right? People will buy tickets just purely because you're signed to Mayweather Promotions, and people might think you're the next Mayweather, and they want to see that early on. I guarantee you that is a potential reason for Curmel Moton to sell tickets and have media interest in him, right? But from what we've seen of him, he does look like a decent boxer. He puts his hands together well, a big puncher, got some power in those hands. He's fighting at 140, and if he can make it at 140, there's some interesting and some big money fights potentially there for him. So more power to him, and no doubt he'll beat Wilfredo Flores, a guy who I've never heard of, and is ranked 367th on BoxRec, which is crazy. You're ranked 367th, bro. Like, that's nuts. But hey, but you got to get a bag. You got to make a payday, I guess. Who am I to judge? But yeah, Curmel Moton's going to be facing him on February 28th, and no doubt it'll be a pretty easy fight for him. All Wilfredo Flores can hope for is to give him some good rounds and maybe be competitive in there, keep him thinking. But other than that, this is pretty much a setup job for Curmel Moton to run through this dude and get another highlight reel. Hopefully it's a knockout. It's possible, very possible there will be a knockout. He's got some power. He throws with bad intentions. In a lot of ways, does remind probably a lot of people of like Tank. But Curmel Moton needs to be more active. He's too young, too talented to be having these long layoffs, particularly in fights where he's not even taking tons of damage. I'm one guy who is always for the boxer taking more time off if they've been in a war. But I'm also the same guy who doesn't want fighters to have long layoffs if they've not had taken any damage in fights. If you're a guy who, hasn't taken much damage in any fight, get back in there 3-4 months later. There's no reason not to be. Get another payday. Get another fight under your belt, bro. Get paid. As long as you're not taking no crazy amount of shots during preparation and during the fight, get back in there. And no doubt Moton has wanted to get back in there. He said that publicly. Curmel Moton said that publicly that he wanted to be more active. But of course he's saying, fights fell through. And, honestly, especially when you're a prospect like this, an undefeated, surging prospect with power, being promoted by Mayweather Promotions, a lot of guys aren't going to want to fight you, bro. Because they know if they lose to a guy like him early on in his career, like, it's over for you. You're not going to be respected as a top-tier guy ever now, because you lost to a young Curmel Moton. Again, these are very real things in the world of boxing. And anyone who says they're not, they're just lying to you. Granted, there will always be a guy willing to take a payday, willing to take the opportunity for some rounds. Always. Hence, while we're here with Wilfredo Flores, like, no doubt, this guy was not Curmel Moton's first choice to fight. But he's the guy who's taking the fight, and he's the guy who's showing up, so respect to him. But I'd be super curious to know what you guys think of this fight, and what you think of Curmel Moton generally. Do you think he's an upcoming prospect, or do you think he's, a bit too much hype behind him? He's not accomplished anything as a pro yet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But I think regardless, this will be a quite emphatic win for Curmel Moton against Wilfredo Flores. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.